Well, welcome to the Monday Money Tip podcast presented by Fully Funded Life. My name is Joe Sengel, and I'm here to help you win with your money and live a fully funded life. Today on the podcast, we're going to talk about a couple of topics. One of them is going to be a fundamental rule of finances. It's the fundamental rule. It's what? It controls your financial destiny, really. It is the base rule of money. And everyone, when they hear it, they know it. They fundamentally know this fact. The issue is that the way that they behave with money, a lot of times runs counter to that. And therefore, they do not win and they do not get to live a fully funded life. But of course, for you, you're going to be able to do this because you are investing in yourself. And the fundamental rule of finances that I want to share with you today is this, and that is income minus outgo equals exactly zero. It is a fundamental rule of money. Income minus outgo has to equal exactly zero. It's math. You cannot change the fundamental rule of math. And I've had a lot of people who are resistant to this. They get frustrated. They have a lot more outgo than income, and they constantly argue that they need more income. And in some cases, that may be true, especially if you're unemployed or you're injured and can't produce income. That can surely be true. But for the vast majority of people, they're just spending more than they make. They could absolutely prosper with the income they have, but the decisions they've made on the outgo side have greatly affected their ability to prosper. Now, you may be saying, Joe, wait a minute, income minus outgo should not equal exactly zero. It should have profit in the equation. There should be money left over. Well, what if I told you outgo included spending money into savings and investments? Now, would you agree? In other words, what I'm saying is make sure that in your budget, you do have a budget, don't you? That you are spending money straight into that savings account. That you are saving for those dreams, those plans, those hopes that you have. That you're also saving for those known upcoming non-monthly expenses. Those things you know are coming, but they don't happen monthly, like Christmas, vacations, property taxes, annual quarterly insurance premiums, maybe even saving for those car repairs that you may not know what's going to break. Some's going to break or wear out, tires, brakes, and the like. And you need to save for them. You need to spend money into savings, and you need to spend money into investments. Investments for what? Well, of course, retirement, but also if you want to help your children with college or you have dreams, the big time dreams that you want to fund that are before retirement, but a long ways off, hey, make sure that you're spending into that. Now, there's two sides to this equation, right? You can improve your financial situation and live a more fully funded life by either A, increasing income, or B, decreasing outgo. Ideally, you could do both. How do you produce more income? Increase your skill sets, add more value at your place of work, get new certifications, add more education. Because you are compensated directly proportional to the value that you bring to your organization and the conflict that you resolve. See, that will increase income. You can also increase income by making investments that produce more income that you do not have to work for. Of course, decreasing outgo is what we generally run to, and that is something that's within our control where we can cut out maybe some subscriptions we have, get new quotes on insurance. We can save more money by going with a plan and shopping from a list with groceries, using cash envelopes or what's now called cash stuffing. Those sort of things can help you decrease outgo. By increasing income and decreasing outgo, of course, you increase your opportunity to live a fully funded life. And of course, the best way to employ this fundamental rule of money is to use a budget. Hey, I encourage you to check out the budget templates that are free. They're available in the link below this where you're watching this, where you're listening to this. You'll be able to download free budget templates to help you get started employing this most important fundamental rule of money. Income minus outgo equals exactly zero. You can take the E from exactly, the Z from zero. We could even say it's easy. Hey, the next thing I want to talk about is a very important, it's a dynamic that's happening in the world all around us. Unfortunately, many of us have never been exposed to it growing up. It wasn't talked a lot about in our educational process, whether through high school or college or wherever you went and received your education. But it's a fact of how people produce income. And if you boil it all down, there's really two ways to produce income. And the first way is to work equals get paid money, and don't work equals don't get paid money. This is also known as a job, a J-O-B. And this is what we learn at a young age. We learn that if we exchange our time, talent, energy, and effort, that we could receive income for doing that. So we are giving up our time, our efforts, our intellect, our capabilities in exchange for compensation. This is way number one. And because that is well within our control, we tend to default to this. However, the way that the wealthy become wealthy is they realize and employ the second way to produce income, and that is get paid whether or not you are working. Now, how do you get paid without working? Raise your hands if you want to get paid without working. Okay? Well, listen, think about this. There will be a day where you will no longer be able to exchange your time, talent, energy, and intellect for a paycheck. You will be tired, and therefore you will retire. And if you do not have type 2 income where you're receiving income, having not worked for it, well, let me tell you, friend, that is not what we call an ideal, thriving, fully funded life in retirement. You will have to have type 2 income. Social Security is type 2 income. You contribute to it from your type 1 income, and it grows. And then when you retire and hit that retirement age and file for those benefits, you receive that compensation that you are no longer working for. Make sense? Your 401k, hopefully it grows over the long term. And as a result, it is producing income that you do not work for. And we call that oxen. It's from a scripture that I ran across in the book of Proverbs, chapter 14, verse 4. And it says, where there are no oxen, there's an empty manger, but from the strength of an ox comes abundant harvest. And when I ran across that verse, I realized it's saying you could have two outcomes. You could have an empty manger, or you could have an abundant harvest. So which would you rather have? Well, a fully funded life, it experiences abundant harvest. And it says the difference is oxen. And if you think about it, a farmer in a field using an ox can get a lot more accomplished. They can plow a lot more. They can sow a lot more seed. They can reap a lot more simply by using an ox. And it's not like a small factor greater than what we can do of our own ability. It's 10x, it's 50x, it's 100x more than you could do on your own. Why? Because an ox can do things you cannot do. And in the same way that that verse recognizes that this effort of this other thing, this beast of burden, this ox, helps you produce more. What are you doing the work? No, the ox is carrying the load. Do you have to guide it? Absolutely. So just to rattle off a few oxen, some things that are working for you, that type 2 income, hey, it can be rental income. If you own a residential rental property, you rent out a room in your house, you rent commercial property. It could be an investment into raw land. It could be precious metals, gold and silver that you bought low and sold at a higher price. It can be stocks, bonds, mutual funds, exchange traded funds. It can be ownership interest in a business, a franchise. These are just a few of oxen that can work for you, that type 2 income. And my goal that I've set for myself, and I encourage you to set it for yourself, is have at least 3 streams of type 2 income headed your way as soon as possible. By the time you reach retirement, definitely. So Social Security can be one, a 401k can be another, a defined pension benefit that you may have from your employer can be another. But have at least 3. They don't have to be equal. But if you have 3, and the sooner you get them, rental income. I have rental income. I'm in my 40s. I have rental income. But that allows me to recognize that type 2 income is as reliable, maybe even more reliable than me relying on me for type 1 income. You see, I could become injured. I can get sick. I could die prematurely. We're rooting against that. At least I am. And here's what I know. Type 2 income will continue producing, and it allows me to leave an inheritance for my children's children. So, hey, if you want to live a fully funded life, recognize that type 2 income is all around you. And ask yourself this fundamental question. Right now, this month, how much money have you received that you did not work for? Type 2 income. How many rent checks did you receive? How many dividends did you receive from stocks or through your mutual funds? How much did your 401k grow? How much did you contribute to Social Security? See, I bet you have oxen and you didn't even know you had them. But hey, I do encourage you, think about it. What type of oxen do you have working for you today? Which ones are working for the future? And then be about the business of taking your type 1 income and using it to acquire type 2 oxen and get them working in the field. Let's wrap it up with some good old cow jokes since we have some oxen. I told you that this would be a powerful principle. I bet it moved you. Did it? Have you heard about this type of stuff before? It's no bull. It's utterly amazing. Hey, can you tell I'm trying to milk it? Hey, have a great week, everybody.